but through that, there's been some good interest rates decreases into the market. But so today I'm going to give you a little bit of an overflow of what's happening in the market in South Africa, what's happening in the market in Stellenboch, who's buying, and then, is it a good time to buy property? Is it property still a good investment? Renting versus buying, and versus other investments. Where does property fit in? So I'm going to get started, and I always like starting with what's actually happening in Cape Town. And for us, population growth in Cape Town has grown by 30% over the last 15 years. Our population is sitting at around 4.7 million people in Cape Town. So with a growing population, there's always going to be a demand in property. Everyone's goal and everyone's right is actually own their own property. So certain segments of the market are going to still be busy. There's certain portions of the market which is not going to do that well. So I'm going to unpack that for you today. But growth in Cape Town's been good. What's been happening in sales? So this is a very interesting graph showing us what sales have been happening in the last year and a bit. So this is the national registration of all properties that's transferred. So you'll look at this graph and you'll see that only 5% of the whole property market in South Africa was over 3 million rand. 16% of the market was from 1.5 to 3 million. And then 25% of the market was from 800 to 1.5. So you can see 80% of the market in South Africa over the last year and a bit has been predominantly under 3 million. So, the luxury property prices is taking a massive knock. And the reason for that is less people able to buy properties in the luxury market, or there's less people, if you look what's happening in Europe and South Africa with junk status, there has been less people looking at South Africa to see where South Africa is going. I do see that as a good opportunity with the rand exchange rate over the next coming months, that is going to change. I think that there's some good opportunities into the market. So it is a buyer's market. It's a good time to buy. But then you look at where the market has been really, really busy and active. And people don't tell you that the market is still very strong in certain segments. If you look at current provincial inflation status, looking at Western Cape and Northern Cape at around 3.6%, Eastern Cape at 4%. Bearing in mind this was around 12% 2 years ago. So it has been coming down. I think these are the levels we're going to get used to for the next 2 years, at around 4%. If you look at the national average of capital growth in the real estate segment is around 2.9%. So Cape Town still above the national average. And then if you look at the trends on what's actually happening, so if you look at properties mid-value between 250 and 700,000, which is your yellow graph, you're going to see still capital growth at around 10%. The higher price bracket, the less growth you're going to get. So I think we're going to be around that 3 to 4% range for the next 2 years. Luxury market has taken a massive knock. So properties over 6-7 million up to 40 million. Less people in the market. People are sitting on cash. Leisure properties, I think, are going to be under strain, and people from an investment, I think, is going to start picking up as the rand dollar and the euro and the pound is so strong versus the rand. So I think there's great opportunities in the market, but I think the luxury market's going to be under pressure for the next 2 years. If you look at interest rates, I think we're all very happy to see another 1% decrease in the prime lending rates this week, which means that's 2.25% that's gone down this year, which, if you look over the last 25 years, actual prime lending rate now is around 7.75%. The highest, I don't know, a lot of people in the audience will remember when the interest rates went to 25%. That's when I started in the property market 22 years ago. The lowest was in the 1950s. It was at 5.5. So, as a South African interest rate, I think this is the right segment of the market. Globally, if you look at Australia, New Zealand, we're in those sort of lanes. So I think that we probably can expect another percent decrease within this year, because petrol prices is going to be coming down as the market and consumers are under pressure. So, is property still a good investment? Absolutely. I think if you look at property over a long-term period, property will always do well. And at the end of the day, it boils down to, if you look at what global markets have done over the last 2 months with this virus, I mean, some markets hit 50%. So if you had all your money invested in the stock market, you would have lost close to 50% of your money, some 40, 30%. In property, you're not going to see a 40 or 50% decrease. If you look property in a long environment, you're normally going to be ranging between 5 and 8% capital growth. So, property is still one of the best vehicles to invest in for retirement, for first-time home buyers. So yes, it's still the right vehicle to invest funds in. Firstly, you've got a tenant. If you're buying for investment, you've got a tenant paying a big portion of your bond. In South Africa, interest rates are a lot lower now. Thirdly, the banks are still lending. They're very aggressive to lend. They're lending up to still 100% the loan to value. So you're using the bank's money to have a little bit of growth. Yes, you're going to get less growth, but I still believe it's still a way better investment than the stock market. Now, if you break that down and you look at Stellenbosch, what's been happening, if you look at Stellenbosch Central, Stellenbosch has always been a strong market. There's always high demand in the market, and that is because it's beautiful. It's got a lot of history. It feels like Europe in a little village environment, and obviously the student environment, and it's just an amazing lifestyle. So if you're looking at the Stellenbosch market, it has had a little bit of a decrease in the sectional title, but the single residential is still doing really, really well. Sales have dropped off, and the reason for that is people are rather sitting on their properties rather than selling now at a lower price, because buyers are choosing good deals. If you look at who's buying, this graph just illustrates, and I've done two. The top graph is Stellenbosch Central. So who's buying in Stellenbosch at the moment? So you'll see the green is aged from 18 to 35. So 24% of the market of the latest buyers in Stellenbosch is from 18 to 35. 31% of the market is from 36 to 49. And then your more mature is 50 to 64. So a big portion of the market, 50% of the market, is from 18 to 49. If you look at Neugedacht, I've actually brought Neugedacht as the recent buyers at the bottom. Neugedacht, 45%, and we've been very interested to see the age groups are moving into Neugedacht. So your younger person from 45, from 18 to 49, basically, it's close to 80% of the market. And then more your mature is around 17%, and then your pensioners around 3%. So it's very interesting to see what's happening in the markets. And I think that there is a big trend over the next 2 years that people are definitely going to downscale, downsize. I think the days are gone having a massive big plot and a big house with higher overhead running costs of water, electricity, swimming pool. I do believe that estates like Neugedacht are going to be sought after, because firstly, you've got the security. Number two, you've got the lifestyle environment. You're surrounded by beautiful vineyards and mountains, and you're still part of a community. So at the end of the day, I think that people are going to downscale, downsize into more secure lifestyle estates. So Neugedacht is really well positioned for that. I'm going to just give you a little bit of an overview of Neugedacht and a little introduction. If you don't know, many of the people watching this do know Neugedacht, so I'll play a little intro. So, Neugelach's been a very exciting development to be involved in. I'm involved in 4 the biggest developments in the Western Cape and in South Africa. And Neugelach is definitely one of my favorite developments with regarding to, the surroundings of Neugelach, firstly. Number 2, the security element and the scope. If you look at the Verth family and what they've created out of this 20 hectare development, the development started in 2013. You've got close to 800 people living in Neugelach. It is completely unique and different to any other development that I've been involved in. It's close to 50% complete with regarding to the amount of stock that is available. There's still another 600 homes to be developed in Neugelach, yet it's got the infrastructure, it's got the services, you're surrounded by these beautiful, majestic mountains and vineyards, and it becomes a little Europe within Stellenboch, which I think is very amazing. The 24,000 hectare and 24,000 meter urban park has been opened with the natural water features running around it, and I think that it's going to be very exciting as Neugelach comes to completion. I think that the growths are going to be is going to be really good, because there is no other development that can be developed like this in this node. And I think that with the surrounding developments on what's going to happen on Bottleray Road with the Devonbosch development, I think it's going to add a lot of value to Neugelach, as it's going to be a business hub, a lot of big corporates, a lot of big businesses, 2 studios, close to about another 11,000 people living in Devonbosch. So the Bottleray Road, the future of Stellenbosch, is going to be the node to be in. So this is going to be the Stellenbosch place to be. And the reason for that is the decentralization of nodes is becoming very popular in South Africa, not just in South Africa, all over the world. And the big reason for that is people are choosing a better lifestyle rather than traveling 2 hours a day in traffic. So someone would rather live close to work, have a school close by, where you can not get into your car, not get stuck in traffic, and have a better lifestyle. So these developments are going to become even more popular over the coming years as people are going to decentralize. They don't want to get stuck in traffic. It's the stress around it, and things are changing in global standards. I've spoken about the lifestyle active. You've got Devonville Golf Course 1 kilometer away. You've got Bottleray Hills, which I love mountain biking in. There's a lot of, we find that Stellenbosch the community is very active, park runs and mountain biking and golfing and family time. Devonbosch is a kilometer away from Neugelach, so I think that's going to be a very exciting cross-pollination between Devonbosch and Neugelach. If you look at what Neugelach has to offer today, I think is probably the best value in lifestyle developments in Cape Town. And the reason why I say that is for you to buy a 3-bed, 2-bathroom or 2-bed, 2-bath with a garage, a garden, including transfer costs, at around 2,300, 2.3 million rand. You're getting 123 to 210 square meters. You're getting upmarket finishes. You're getting new property, and I think new properties, a lot more people are going to go that route because they don't want to waste money on transfer duty. They want to get something that's brand new. They want to put their flair finishes in. And at the same token, from an investment point of view, if you look at the terrace, Village Terrace has been very, very popular. So from a rental perspective, our rental team, Odette and Desiree, have been extremely successful in Neugelach. We've got I think we've only got about 5 properties that is open at the moment. The vacancy ratio is very, very low. It's very attractive for young families, young people, and wanting to start out. Also to the business guys coming down from Joburg, I think this is going to be the unit of choice over the coming years. And then we've got the bigger luxury homes, which selling from 4.6, 220 square meters to 272 square meters, a grand, a really beautiful family lifestyle setup. We've got, even though we've seen a decrease of international buyers, we've got quite a few international buyers, Swiss, German, that have bought in Neugedacht. They live 6 months in Europe, and then they come to South Africa for 6 months. And I do think with the coronavirus and what's happened in the global stage, I think that more people are going to travel within South Africa. And I think that, yes, it's going to take time, but I think that we're going to have a little bit of a boom with people within South Africa wanting to travel within South Africa instead of traveling overseas. So I think that Stellenbosch is definitely on one of those pillars where people look at lifestyle. They want to be in the vineyards, they want to be in the winelands. They want that type of lifestyle. They want safe, they want security, they want that lifestyle, and they want lock up and go. So I do think that Neugedacht is a state of choice within Western Cape and South Africa, and I think we'll have more people coming down from Johannesburg, Durban, because of our lifestyle of living in Stellenbosch. And then I always love going through this graph and illustrating what people spend on rentals versus them owning their first property. So if you look at, if you were renting, let's say let's say you're watching this and you are renting it from us at Neugedacht. Let's say you're renting 15,000 Rand a month. Is it a good time to buy now? Let's be honest. The market, yes, the market is a bit down, but is it better to rent or is it better to buy? So a straightforward answer to that is with this information. So if you're renting at 15,000 Rand a month over 1 year, so in 2020, you're going to basically lose, where the arrow is, 180,000 Rand a year. So if you rent for the next 5 years, you're going to lose close to 900,000 Rand. So basically, 5 years renting in Neugedacht, you're going to lose 900,000 Rand because that's going to your landlord, and he's covering his bond with it. But you're not only losing that 900,000 Rand, you're actually losing the capital growth that if you bought it. So let's say you buy Neugedacht today. Firstly, what's amazing is you only start paying the full bond once you move in. So 12 months, you buy a unit today, you pay your deposit, you get your bond approval, we start building for you. You're basically going to get 92,000 Rand of capital growth by the same time next year. So firstly, you're getting 100% bond. The banks are lending 100%. You're going to earn 92,000 Rand in capital growth in year 1. In year 2, that's going to go to 184 because that's at 4%, which is the first graphs I showed you at the beginning of the presentation. Year 3, 276, and over 5 years, you would have made 460,000 Rand. So if you rent for the next 5 years, not only have you lost the 900,000 Rand, but you've lost the 460,000 capital growth, which means your loss would have been 1.360. Yes, are you sitting down? That number at the bottom is the amount of money that you would have lost being out of the market. So the time it's a good time to buy property. The interest rates are low. You're going to get very good rates to the banks. The banks are still lending. And I think that even with our situation in lockdown, I think it's a really good time to take advantage of this because the banks are aggressive. They want to do the business, and you're going to get a year. We know that this virus is going to be out of our hair in the next, even if it takes 3 months or 4 months, businesses will get back to normal. We do have a population growth. People want to own their property. And number 2, people are going to look at lock up and go, security lifestyle estates, because they want to be in a good, secure environment, but with nice settings surrounded. So it is still a very good time to buy. I would buy property versus stocks any day, as I showed you earlier. 40 to 45% loss. property, you look at the long term versus the short term, and it will always be a good investment. So that's the Stellenbosch market update today and on Neugedacht. If there's any questions, I'll open the floor. If you want to have any questions, you can put up your hand, and I will open the floor for any questions. If you put up your hand, I will unmute you, which means you can speak on this platform. Surely there we go. There's some questions. So Yuri Swart, I'm unmuting you. Good afternoon. How are you? Yuri? Yuri, can you hear me? There's no questions on that side. Anyone else have any questions? This presentation has been recorded, and it will be emailed through to everyone that took place. There we go, Margie. Let's see if we can get you. Just give me 2 seconds. Are there, Margie?
Hi.
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. How are you?
I'm good, thanks yourself.
Good, good. Have you got any questions for me?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, what is the expected year or date that you're expecting the whole project to be finished?
I think that it's a very interesting question. Is that we still got close to 600 still homes to sell and develop. So if it's all depending on, firstly, when do we as South Africa get out of lockdown? Hopefully that's at the end of the month. I think realistically, it's going to take 3 to 6 months for the economy to slowly get back into get into the rhythm of things.
Yes.
At the end of the day, at Neugedacht, we've if you look at all the development sales in the Western Cape has slowed. It's all depending on how quickly we sell units. So as we sell units, as we'll build. To give you a more realistic answer, I would say anything between the next 3 and 5 years to be completely built up and finished and completed. If the market improves, it could be quicker. If the market doesn't improve, you're looking 3 to 5 years.
Okay. Okay. Super. Good.
Perfect. Thanks for the question.
Okay.
If anyone else has any questions, let's try Yuri again. I'm going to unmute you, Yuri. Okay, that's not working. Almin, I'm going to unmute you. Hello, Almin.
Hi, Sean. I want to know which marketing platforms do you use, to market Neugedacht?
So we basically on all the digital platforms, Property24, Private Property, IRL, Realtor of Excellence is a national and international. So ourselves on Realtor of Excellence, we're doing a very big project in Switzerland, one of the biggest developments in the Swiss Alps. So it's linked to our national and international database. And then we use a lot of data to analyze, which I showed you in one of the other graphs, is really looking at the people in different age groups and how do we market through to that. So we use that data to try and link up through digital, social media, SEO, boosting. So we use a lot of digital platforms to try and get to the right clients. And yeah, we do things a bit differently.
Okay, thanks. And then the other question is, I see, sorry. On the website, there's the features are still, always still marketed with a gym and a clubhouse and a lifestyle center, which we all know does exist. Is that not false marketing? Because if we don't have it, and we market as if it is there, that's the expectation of people.
Yeah, I think this came up with another, I think it could have been you with another client, which we were speaking to Vanna is online as well. At the end of the day, it boils down to when you're selling a development, and this is, we're doing one in Switzerland, like I said, the Swiss Alps. doing another one, Conradi Park, which is one of the biggest developments in Cape Town, another one in Bloberg. At the end of the day, you need to sell the features on what the development is going to have in the long term. Yes, at the end of the day, it boils down to, it doesn't have, let's say for a gym, it doesn't have a gym or the clubhouse. The clubhouse, at the end of the day, and this speaking very closely with Van and the team, is that, you know, if you take the Rackham Mall, the Rackham Mall is something, yes, it is a restaurant, but it is a clubhouse at the same token. It's something to be proud of. It's, you know, one of South Africa's biggest rugby museums, and there's a lot of events that's happened for Neugedacht as the homeowners or the development, trying to bring the community together. And what is a clubhouse? At the end of the day, we've first been involved in clubhouses that don't get used, doesn't get utilized because the homeowners don't use it. So yes, I do believe that, you know, you can't sell the gym, you got the future hotel with the facilities and the pool and the tennis courts. At the end of the day, we can only do that when that gets built and developed. Every client that comes through, as us as Realtor of Excellence involved in the marketing, every client that does come through to Neugedacht has a one-on-one appointment with Mariki from a sales point of view, and Odette and Desiree from a rental point of view. And we do a tour with the whole of Neugedacht, what is there. So as long as the communication is being communicated correctly, I think that is what the critical point is.
Okay, I agree with that one. Thank you.
Thanks very much. And then I see Graham Cox. I'm going to unmute you, Graham. Hi, Graham. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi, Sean.
It's Tony.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Graham.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, with regards to the timing of the retirement village, is that on the cards anytime soon?
So the timing on the retirement, Vanna is in discussions with clients with regarding to developing of the retirement. To give you a straightforward answer, it's not imminent like the next 3 months or 4 months, but it is in the planning stage. I know that there has been a lot of, I mean, I think we had one stage we had close to 500 people very interested in the retirement. The retirement element is something completely unique and different, and has to be planned correctly. So within the next, I would say within the next 3 months, I think the first thing is getting through the lockdown. And what is that going to affect from a building perspective in Neugedacht with the current sales, and unlocking the strategy. So we will be in line within the next, I would say, by the end of this year, to be able to give a proper timeline of the retirement.
Okay, so it's still on the cards.
It's definitely still on the cards, yes.
Yeah, and then when you answered the question from the previous person, it sounded almost as if you were shelving the idea of having a clubhouse. But, you know, swimming pool, etc., etc.
Yeah, I think that the clubhouse and the facilities that surrounded that is also tying into the hotel. So, you know, to try and get the right hotel operator would dictate, you know, what the need analysis on that, and that would obviously facilitate the gym and the sauna and the tennis courts and the facilities surrounded that. I think that it really boils down to, as Vanna and the teams, they can only cross that bridge once that has been concluded, and then they can facilitate, you know, the rollout of that.
Okay. What would be interesting is an envisaged timeline, even if you don't put months to it. If you could put, you know, the timeline, say what's going to happen next, and then after that, and then after that, to the
Absolutely.
end of the plan. That would be quite interesting to see.
Oh, perfect. We'll definitely put it on the strategy document.
Okay. Thanks.
Perfect. Thanks, Graham. Okay,
Cheers.
I'm going to go for one more question. Who else have got hands up? Batis, last question for today. Batis?
Hello?
Are there? Yes, Batis.
Yeah, no, I've write my question down. I just wanted to know about the capital growth you said. Me, myself, I don't think 4% at the moment, because from 2017, I've been seeing the prices standing still, not increasing very much. I just want to hear your thoughts
so
on
in in the graph that I showed everyone, that we can only, obviously I don't have a crystal ball. I don't think any of us do. The stats that I showed you is what's up to date. So, you know, that's where we've been. We went from 12% to 4%. I think that realistically, depending on what market, the higher, so, you know, if you're looking at properties above the 5 to 10 million, I think in the one graph I showed you, there's actual negative growth. If you're looking in the properties between 1.5 and 3.5 million, I think that there is going to be still a bit of capital growth because there's more people in that market. So it's depending on which market. But I agree with you that, you know, time will tell with regarding to how businesses are affected, which I think obviously it's going to be mega, and we're only going to know that. It always takes 3 months to 6 months to actually filter into the market. So, you know, does lockdown come up at the end of the month? Do we go full steam ahead, which I don't think. I think it will be a slow trickle. So I think there's going to be 3 to 6 months of data that's going to come through, and there is going to be a bit of a lag. Yes, so I would agree with you.
Okay, cool. I'm fine with that. Thanks for the answer.
Thank you. Thanks, Bertus.
Bye.
Thanks, guys, very much for the good questions. I see there's one more. Jason and Johan. Let's see. Jason, how's it, Jason?
Good day, fun thing to solve.
Good.
Just a quick question. It's just interesting to see on that Lightstone report where you said almost half of the people that's currently buying is your youth or your younger adults. Just out of curiosity, is a lot of those people buying in that frame buying with cash, or is it mostly bonded?
So you'll find that if you look at our stats, most of it is bonded. But you'll find that the guys have got their deposits, so it's not 100% bonds. They're normally around 10% deposit. As the age group goes up, the deposit does increase. We have had a few cash sales, but that's on the bigger properties as well. But we have seen, especially in our rentals, it's been very attractive for younger guys to enter, and you know, at the end of the day, a lot of the rentals are renewing. So, and that's also, it really gives you the evidence that people like staying at Neugedag. They feel it's safe, it's secure, and we've spoken to a few of our tenants already that are looking, and they're just saving up so they can get into the market.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Perfect, thanks, Jason. I think I saw one more. Lindy. Okay, this will be the last question. Hi, Lindy, you live? Lindy, you live?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I just wanted to inquire about Sabella Square. What is happening there?
Sabella Square, the sales were very slow on Sabella Square. So we did have a few. We had a lot of interest that turned into a few sales, and then from a banking requirement, we needed to get to a certain amount of pre-sales. With discussions with Vanna, was the discussion of because we've only got a few. If you look at a pricing comparison from Sabella Square, we had quite a few people wanting to buy, but the time frame of it to build it, develop it, and there was still Village Terrace still available if you look in comparison from a price point of view. So we just said that from a strategy point of view, let's focus on Terrace to get the last units. I think we've only got about 6 units left at Terrace. Get those units sold, and then we're going to relaunch Sabella. So Sabella is still on the strategy, but we're trying to focus on one thing at the time. So we're not doing, you know, 6 different things at a time. So my strategy with Van is to go, let's focus on Terrace. Obviously, we've got Village Close and the other elements. Sabella Square will be launched properly to the market once Terrace is sold out. So it is still on the cards to take officially into the market probably September, October this year, depending on what happens with the lockdown.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thanks, Lindy. Guys, that's it for today's Stellenbosch update and Neugedacht. Thank you very much for taking the time. You will get an email today with this presentation with all the stats. If you've got any questions, you can email myself, Tony at Real Group, or Mariki at realgroup.co.za. Mariki will be in contact with all of you to see if there's any other questions, or if you need anything else answered. And we'll keep you posted. And at the end of the day, hope you're all safe, staying at home, and let's hope that this lockdown comes up at the end of the month. I think from all of us, super proud to be South African, the way South Africa and the government and the minister have handled everything to date. And let's hope that the situation gets better and we can get back to business. And thank you very much for joining us.